All right, la gang, j'espère que vous êtes en forme. J'espère que vous êtes en feu. Donc aujourd'hui, on a on va y aller de même. On va y aller de même, une légende. OK? Il y a littéralement une fondatrice de Prove It avec nous. Elle a connu ça, des petits sacs de blocs remplis de poudre. OK? Elle a vraiment vécu ça. Elle fait partie des, je ne sais pas trop si je me trompe, on va dire des 8 premières personnes à avoir pris le premier meeting avant que Prove It devienne Prove It. OK? Donc, elle a passé au travers de toutes les tribulations, toutes les tempêtes, tous les problèmes qui peuvent arriver, mais aussi toutes les solutions. Elle a participé à toute l'évolution de Prove It du début à la fin, ce qui est quand même relativement insane. Pour atteindre, je ne sais pas si vous comprenez, mais pour atteindre le rang 10, ça prend 1 million de volume par mois. OK? Ça, en canadien, c'est environ 3 millions de ventes dans un mois. Il faut leur dire. OK? 1 million de volume de vente, donc 3 millions de ventes en argent dans un mois. OK? C'est juste insane, right? Donc, à partir du moment où tu es rendu dans Prove It, tu as accès à beaucoup de choses, tu as accès à des promos, tu as accès à être sur la vision board, littéralement. Donc, elle a accès à beaucoup d'informations à la limite que même nous, on n'a pas. OK, en tant que rang 7, en tant que pro champ, tout ça, c'est plus qu'une VIP, en fait, OK? Il y a énormément de choses qu'elle peut nous transmettre. Et moi, ce que j'apprécie par-dessus tout de Abigail, c'est vraiment son côté action, c'est vraiment son côté Rhino. C'est en tant qu'athlète professionnelle, parce qu'elle a été une athlète professionnelle, une de ses grandes forces, c'est de foncer, foncer, pour pas regarder en arrière. OK? Mais c'est exactement comme ça qu'elle gère sa business. Si vous voulez aujourd'hui vous laisser motiver, vous laisser inspirer, OK? Ça va être une des personnes qui va être capable de le plus bouger des montagnes, si je pourrais dire. OK? Soyez pas froissés si elle vous dit des choses qui sont grandes, qui sont peut-être des choses que vous n'êtes pas prêt à entendre. Voyez-le comme un coup de pied au derrière. Puis s'il y a des triggers dans ce qu'elle dit, voyez-le comme étant, oh, OK, c'est un angle mort, comme dirait elle. C'est un angle mort que j'avais peut-être pas nécessairement exploré. So, Abby, I think they're ready. I've talked about your background. I've edified you a little bit. And I know there's a lot of noise here, but we're 11. So we have to do what we have to do, basically. So there's no excuse. And we are in family and we are having fun here. But it's your time to shine now. How are you today?
I'm doing good. I am 1 week out from getting married, y'all. So I'm excited.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
I love it. So I'm very happy to have you today because the team is powerful. The team is ready. The team is running right now. There's a lot of engagement. There's a lot of fun going on. There's a lot of everything. Like everything is going very well right now. So the only job that you have is to be yourself and to just maybe kick us in the ass if we want it or if you want it. So just be yourself, and I asked you a couple of questions, and yeah, I will take it in. So
Okay.
it's your turn, Abby.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So Nick asked if I could talk today, and I just like everything in me was like, let's just wait till after the 11th. Let's just wait till after the 11th. And my brain has been so preoccupied. I'm planning this wedding in literally 50 days since the time we got engaged, and I'm doing it all myself and getting her done. But I said, hey, give me a little bit of direction just this time. What do you want? What do you want me to talk about? And of course, Mick comes back, talk from your heart, kick ass, motivate the team, tell your story. And so, my favorite thing to do is the technical, right? The training. I had 8 PowerPoints I could have choose from to talk to you today. They're ready to go on maybe your DMO or your edifications or your third-party resources, or, but honestly, y'all can go to the Facebook page and do playbook training anytime on the technicalities. So I just was thinking, I'm like, okay, from the heart, dang it, from the heart. My heart's wiped out right now. But, here's what I was thinking about. We all sign in to this business, right? And we're excited and we get started. And for some of us, when we come in, that's not when we get going. I know, one of my best friends, Sylvia, she signed in, but she didn't get going for another 6 to 8 months before she ran to legend. And so you think about what happens to you in this business. We all go through things. We go through trials. We go through seasons of absolute busyness, family life. I know the Justices have 3 kids and they embarked on a huge move this past year. That's like stressful stuff, right? And sometimes it's like you got this huge organization team and in your head just seems to be spinning, right? We're all busy. We all have stuff. And sometimes it takes us out of personal momentum. And because I've been here for 6 years, I can tell you, that happens. Can anybody here raise their hand if they've been at one point taken out of some personal momentum, right? And it's not about keeping the momentum the entire time. It's about being able to find one day to just find that switch again, that click again. And when you come into this business, or when, for me right now, I'm being very honest with you. Part of getting on and talking to people doesn't feel good to me right now because I have not had personal momentum in the last 90 days. I'm consistent. Every month I hit my share pool. I do my personal recruiting, but I have not been engaged as much in the team and in the organization. I do my DMOs. I post in my groups. I have things I won't let slide and I won't give up. But my heart, my mind, and my energy has been on something else. And that's okay. But in my mind, I know exactly what I have to do the week I get back from the honeymoon. I'm ready, right? And so there has to be at some point some kind of thing where you're like, okay, this has been going on in my life. It deserved my full attention. But if you want to work this business and you want to build a legacy, there has to be a stop and a start. There has to be restarts. Because we all know by now that this business is about energy and momentum. Can we agree on that? And we know that the building that carries you happens with sprints. And we know we can't sprint the whole time. But if you're not putting in some focus, concentrated energy, daily activity where you are absolutely married to the activity and not necessarily the result, if you're not in that grind every day for 90 days, it's going to be real hard to get to the place where you can ever back off a little bit and be sustained through maybe whatever happens in your life. And then you come back in. Like, I'm just not sugarcoating it. That's the reality of this business. There were times where I was on a really long time and things fell in my life. And that's kind of the next point I want to lead you to, is that that flip, it's what we say from the very beginning. What's your vision? And I know it sounds cliche, but what is your vision? And for me, something that happened was my vision changed. Okay. And I didn't realize it. And not being in tune with that kind of dims down your energy and aggressiveness to work the business. Okay. When I first came in, here's just a little background on my story. I think he probably told you I started it with Brian Underwood. When I first came into this business, I was poor. I was really poor. I got married at 20. My husband at the time had immediately went into medical school. The debt that we had it was a chokehold. We got into a new home. I mean, we had debt all over the place. And how many of you have ever been in that situation? Like, it's just hard to function and breathe every day. And I was a personal trainer and I was working around the clock and I was a new mom and paying someone else to babysit. I was miserable. And so when this opportunity came to my door, I was hungry. My back was up against the wall. I still to this day have no empathy for people that won't buy a package and get product to start this business, because every single person that follows you who tells you that they don't have the money to buy the product, I legit don't accept that. I was so poor. Okay. But I got that product. Where there's a will, there's a way. And the answer to being successful in this business is, okay, maybe not that way, but we'll find a way to do it. We'll find a way to do it. That has to be the attitude and the mentality. I'll find a way to do it. And I was desperate. It was money. I was after money. I was after freedom. I was after flexibility. Okay. Well, let's see. In 2017, guys, I was making some really big money. Okay. I paid off my husband's entire 4 years of medical school. I paid off all our debt. I created savings. I started my daughter a college fund. And then I started getting into Gucci and Prada. And I started kind of hanging out with, some top leaders in the company. And I started getting into like designer clothes and things like that. And during this time, my marriage started falling apart. My family started coming apart. And I, in some way, shape, or form, was like masking pain and just getting hungrier and hungrier for the things, right? And then I hit a season of just pain, absolute pain, depression, brokenness. There were a lot of other things going on in the background that was creating this trauma in my life. But one day I woke up and the things didn't matter to me anymore. Okay. And so realizing that what was motivating me in the beginning I got to a place where it was no longer motivating me anymore. Are you guys tracking with me? One more pair of Gucci shoes did absolutely nothing for me. It almost repulsed me because of the personal things that I had lost in my life. Does this make sense? And so money, I was doing pretty well. I had the riches and I was miserable. Okay. So then what's my why? I lost that click, and you got to have that click, right? And I am an athlete and I am a stubborn person, and I continued to grind. One thing that I feel like the Lord revealed to me is that he carried me through some really dark times as a single mom to be able to still stay at home and work this business. And so kind of that was the first thing that kind of reconnected me with why I wanted to work so hard, is because I was so appreciative that I didn't have to move out of my home during a divorce. I didn't have to pay for childcare. I didn't have to go back to a 9 to 5. I got my daughter half the week anyway, and I was able to pick her up from school. So the freedom and flexibility of this business now took priority over money, if that makes sense. I needed that because I wanted the relationship. I wanted more relationships in my life. I wanted more love in my life. And what I had built in that aggression and that tenacity was such a blessing on the other end. Okay. But I could feel my heart changing, and I had to find these new clicks, these new reasons why I wanted this, because it wasn't the things anymore. Okay. I know that sounds really simple, but it's a really big deal when you wake up every morning and you have to self-regulate yourself working a business without boss and without hours of telling you, like when you get to clock in and clock out. It is so important. It's so important you are anchored to why you're going to be a disciplined person to do that. And so, I just want to challenge you today. If you're just getting started, find out what the vision is. Find out, and I got, for so long, I almost resented the term burning desire. I was like, yeah. Because I had lost mine. Okay. But you got to get back to a place where you're like, no, really, what is it? What is it that I want? If you're married, what is it that we want? What is it that our family wants? And you got to recheck in with that, because like I said, I've been here for almost 6 years, I think. It's completely changed for me. And without identifying that new anchor, I wouldn't have the energy and the momentum to have some of the 90-day spurts I've had in the last 3 to 4 years, specifically 2. Not understanding where my new why was, my new anchor was. And it's ironic, Mick, that you asked me today to share this, because I've really been thinking about this a lot. And I've also been able to pay at the age of 36 for a wedding, all in cash. Whoa, that's huge, because that's stressful. Ain't nobody got time to do that again in their 30s. So that's been a huge blessing. But I'm going to share with you, I have not shared this with anybody. I shared this with Nick, my fiance, and I did share this with my parents. And this is just really kind of an intimate piece of information. And because I want to stay with a humble heart about it. But I want to share, and it chokes me up, so you can see why it's my why. But I want to share just what God has done with this business and where he's brought me. Okay. So I have had the same personal assistant for almost 5.5 years. When I first got started, I went to a personal branding coach, and they connected me with a girl in the Philippines. Some of you may know her. Her name is Charisse. And she was being verbally abused by her coach at the time. And I took her with me, and I just made her a promise that I would always take care of her and support her. She worked really hard, and we've had definitely those opportunities come in. There's been hurricanes. There's been her family having sickness and disaster. And I've always been there for her. And every time I'm able to be there for her, it fills me more than anything else this money has ever done. So about, I'd say 2 months ago, she has a 7-year-old son. And in the last year, we've been praying, because her son has a really bad limp. Okay. And it's as he's getting older, it's becoming it's going to be one of those things that really socially is going to isolate him. Does that make sense? Are you tracking with me? So, and it's getting more and more apparent. And so she went to the doctor, and they found out that he has his spinal cord was coming untethered. And the result of that, if it goes on, could be paralysis. Okay, so it's very scary. It's a certain condition. I connected her with Dr. Heather, and we were encouraging her to get secondary opinions. Dr. Heather knew all about it. She was a great sounding board during the time. But this surgery ended up, after about the third doctor, it needed to happen immediately, because the more it untethered, the more damage that would be done that you couldn't undo. Okay, and so I'm just going to read to you just a little excerpt about Bryce. So I'm going to do a share screen real quick. Okay, share. All right. All right, here we go. Bryce is this is from Charisse, her mom. Bryce is my only son. He was born July 18th, 2015. He's a very smart boy. Like the usual kids, he's playful. He's matured and loves reading books about God. His faith in God is so big, and I am so thankful for it. He is stubborn, but the sweetest boy I've ever known. His care for us is overwhelming, knowing he's just too young, but he's the shy type of kids. Bryce started limping. It was in the pandemic. We weren't allowed to go out. So I started to check and do researching. I saw something about leg length discrepancy. I checked his foot, and it's smaller than his right foot. I asked Dr. Heather about it, sent her the details, and taught me how to measure. Then May of last year, we were able to book an appointment. Basically, they got x-rays, they went to therapists, they've been going to doctors. They told us that Bryce's body got poisoned with the polio vaccine he had last February, and his foot would forever be like that. And basically, it's an etheric nerve impulse treatment. But then they referred her to an orthopedic, and they said Bryce had a problem with his tendon and needs surgery. And then he went to a neuropedia, and they said Bryce, he was normal, and she said there might be something wrong with his spine. So they're in a third world country trying to get to doctors. And but basically they soon found out that he needed to untether the cord through surgery. And if they didn't, it would cause more damage to his spine, brain, and other parts of the body. The procedure was around $7,000 to $8,000. She said, I have some savings, but they're not enough anymore. It's too expensive. And I asked Abby if she could help. I would, and then basically she said, I can't let his other parts get damaged. That's why I'm considering the procedure. I'm scared that he might be bullied in his school. Knowing his personality, being so shy, I'm not sure I can handle that. I've been wishing to see him running and walking normally again without worrying he'll slip and he might break his legs. That's why I am taking a chance and asking Abby to help me, even if it's very bad time for her, like planning a wedding. Thank you for being the instrument of God. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much, Abby, from day one. You've helped me a lot. I'm so lucky that I met you, and I wanted to share this with you. This is just his personality. I want you to say he was speaking my language on materials and money. Let's see. Oh, no. I'm not going to play. Let's see here. Okay. I'll just share this with you. So this is Bryce, and we were able to cover the payment for his surgery, and get him in. And he went through, it was a 3-hour surgery. They're on different time zones than us, but my daughter was able to be a part of this. My daughter was able to watch her mom give. Her and we started doing things to save money around the home because I wanted to teach her. She's always watched her mom have a lot of money, right? And my heart is changing about it all. And she was able to do some things to be a part of the process where she felt like she was also helping Bryce with the money. So we started, sending him videos and recording. We were waiting up all night to see him come out of surgery, praying for him. And then he literally, right after we had said some prayers, he had come out of the surgery. He was in a lot of pain, and we're just kind of going through this journey. And then in the next 2 days, he's sitting up, and then he's home and he's smiling, and then he's getting back to normal. He's starting therapy now. He's sent videos, and I don't know if this is just.
Thank you so much, Abby, for everything.
I mean, like, the videos we got were just insane. So anyway, this has been like our life for the last 2 weeks and month and a half, going through this journey with Bryce. But I wanted to share this with you because I wanted you to see the impact that money can have. Because at times, I think sometimes money can be evil. It can be used for evil. I think sometimes money can distract us. I think sometimes we can get really caught up in money. And I think it's also really important that we step back and we really say, what brings me joy? What brings my heart peace? What is it that clicks for me? I have a friend who's at the top of her multi-level marketing company, and she kind of went on that same journey. She had a $2 million home, and it was just her and her husband. They had 7 bathrooms, and she hated it. She was miserable. They weren't happy. She kind of gave it all away. She got back her old truck. She's a multi-millionaire, but she's giving most her money to sex slave trafficking and children who are in that. And so my mind wouldn't have been there 6 years ago. And maybe I sometimes meet people who don't tick for money the way I ticked when I got started. Maybe you've already been through enough life experiences where you're just like, but you're going to have to find something else that's going to flip that switch for you and give you the reason why you're going to go all in with this, why you're going to have momentum, why you're going to have seasons of sprints. What's it going to take to wake up, to treat it like a job so you can get paid that way? I really believe you got to reassess your why and what's going to flip that on for you. And so I wanted to just take a minute and share with you the power of kind of God, how he affirmed in my heart, like, hey, we can do things. We can do big things. We can fill your heart up with this. Let me show you where you need to go with it. And I probably haven't been happier or had more joy about money than I have watching that. So I want you to come back in, go to your journal, go to your gratitude. And if it's not the things, and that's okay. If it is the things, guys, that's okay. Because at one point I couldn't breathe with like I needed the things. I needed out of debt. I needed that. So there's nothing wrong with that. But if that's not what you're ticking for anymore, as a human being, like what could make you just feel so good that you could give to, that you'd work for hard. So with that being said, Mick, that's all I got today.
I love it. We talked about authenticity in the call yesterday, and that was straight up authentic. I love it. Like, that wasn't what I expected, but that was really, 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 like, even, yeah, better. That was really from the heart. And the first thing that I asked you basically was speaking from the heart. So that was amazing. Thank you for helping us chopping onions too, because I saw a couple of people's were emotional. Not me. I'm never emotional, but a lot of people were. What?
No onions in your house? That's what Edward said. He said he started chopping onions.
No, I'm good. So yeah, I will do a quick recall in French just to be sure, but I don't think I can translate the energy. I think like the way you express it was the biggest takeaway. Basically, the energy that you gave to us was the biggest takeaway. But I got a couple of golden nuggets that are inside of this. So give me 2 or 3 minutes, and then if you have questions, guys, about like anything, don't hesitate, or just like charge and ask it. So en premier, moi, ce que j'ai compris, la leçon de ce call-là, c'est, je l'appellerais la switch, en fait. OK? Ce serait le mot qui m'a le plus résonné. Elle l'a dit plusieurs fois. C'est toujours trouver la switch à on ou à off. Puis la vie, par défaut, va vous mettre la switch off. Donc, il faut trouver le moyen de toujours rallumer cette switch-là. À certains moments donnés, ce que Abigail a dit, c'est qu'elle compensait avec le matériel. Finalement, se rendre compte que l'argent, c'était juste, ça l'empêchait, ça la rendait pas heureuse, puis ça l'empêchait de regarder ce qui était réellement important dans sa vie. Fait qu'à un certain moment donné, elle s'est rendue compte que l'argent, c'était vide de sens. Donc, qu'est-ce qu'elle s'est mise à faire? C'est qu'elle s'est mise à utiliser son argent pour faire du bien autour d'elle. Puis ça, c'est un moyen qui est beaucoup plus puissant que le matériel. Puis, il n'y a rien contre le matériel. Au contraire, je pense qu'il faut passer au travers d'une phase matérielle pour être capable de ressortir une plus grande profondeur, une version plus profonde de soi. À un certain moment donné, ce qui va devenir la priorité, c'est la liberté. Puis la liberté, si vous n'avez pas cet argent-là, ça va être vraiment, vraiment, vraiment difficile de la prendre parce que la liberté va vous être prise. À un certain moment donné, il faut passer par le fait de faire de l'argent, de se développer. Il faut passer par le 9 à 5 ou le 9 à 9 pour certaines personnes pour être capable de survivre, pour être capable de s'en sortir. Puis un coup qu'on s'en sort, c'est là que l'argent devient notre manière d'atteindre la liberté. Puis un coup qu'on a atteint la liberté, on peut maintenant se dire qu'est-ce qu'on peut faire comme impact avec notre argent. Ce qui s'est passé avec Abigail, c'est qu'avant Prove It, elle n'était pas heureuse, elle n'était pas bien. Elle a traîné ça dans Prove It, puis elle a eu un succès monstre, principalement parce qu'elle voulait fuir le fait qu'elle n'était pas bien. À un certain moment donné, ça l'a rattrapé même dans Prove It. Sauf qu'à partir du moment où c'est qu'elle avait l'argent, elle avait le temps, puis elle avait la liberté, qu'est-ce qui s'est passé? Elle a pu bâtir, se rebâtir grâce à toutes les opportunités que Prove It lui a offertes. C'est vraiment puissant quand on pense à ça. Okay? Des fois, essayez pas de vous réparer. Essayez juste de passer au travers et d'écouter l'univers. Elle parle beaucoup de God, beaucoup de Dieu. Écoutez les signes, écoutez ce que vous voulez, mais écoutez qu'est-ce qui se passe dans votre vie. Parce qu'au moment où ça va vous arriver, vous allez être capable, ça va être le bon moment pour tourner la page. Et en tournant la page, vous allez arriver avec une page blanche. C'est sur cette page blanche-là que vous allez être capable d'écrire votre nouvelle histoire. Soyez reconnaissant pour tout ce qui s'est passé dans votre vie, tous les challenges, toutes les difficultés que vous avez dans votre vie. Parce que c'est eux qui vont créer votre rang 7, votre rang 8, votre rang 9, votre rang 10. C'est à partir de ce moment-là que vous allez pouvoir dire, OK, je prends le temps pour moi. Si je veux, je peux prendre une semaine pour moi. Si je veux, je peux prendre un mois pour moi. Si je veux, je peux prendre 2 ans pour moi. Abigail, ça a peut-être pris 2 ans, 3 ans avant de se reconstruire. Elle est encore là-dedans. Réfléchissez à ce que ça peut vous apporter. Oui, vous allez passer au travers de l'argent, au travers du fame, à la limite de la popularité, tout ça. Mais ça, quand vous allez arriver de l'autre côté, c'est là que la réelle puissance va embarquer. Vous allez pouvoir aider les enfants à l'autre bord du monde, aux Philippines, si vous voulez. Travailler pour des causes qui vous tiennent à cœur. Ce qu'elle parlait aussi, son ami qui donne beaucoup d'argent pour probablement Operation Underground, la fondation au niveau des enfants, la traite d'enfants, la traite d'humains, des choses comme ça, qui est une cause qui me tient vraiment à cœur. Je ne sais pas si c'est de Opération Underground qu'elle parlait, mais personnellement, c'est quelque chose qui me tient à cœur, c'est quelque chose que je sais que dans Provette, on a beaucoup à cœur. Donc, voilà, trouver la switch, parce que c'est cette switch-là que vous allez toujours devoir allumer. Puis votre switch va changer. Votre switch, c'est votre vision, by the way, si vous ne l'aviez pas compris. Qu'est-ce que vous voulez faire quand vous allez avoir du temps? Qu'est-ce que vous voulez faire quand vous allez avoir de l'argent? Quelle est votre contribution pour le monde? Donc, that's it. That's it. So, all right, Abby, I will stop the recording. And that was really, 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 really deep. That was so awesome. Thank you. Pour les gens qui écoutaient la reprise, n'hésitez pas si vous avez des questions. Et surtout, joignez-nous donc en live sur Zoom quand on fait ça. Je pense que c'est encore plus puissant.